But it's also interesting to touch about, I think there's going to be like data analysts that specialize within like UX to get that. So I think that's going to be new space. Obviously, and this can sort of touch on to the next question is like, how do you think the rise of AI in UX will impact jobs and skills in the design industry?
My favorite thing about UX designers historically, like, and I'll caveat this and contextualize it with a number of the UX designers I've worked with usually come from art school, right? They're artists who have wanted to move into UX because they love it, or they are supporting their creative careers, etc. And the thing I love about collaborating with them is they have the most interesting questions that they approach design with. And I think what we're going to see with Gen AI is that we're going to shift, from a model where it's the best Figma maker as the best UX designer to more of those people who ask the best questions, who are starting to dig into thinking. And I think that's going to pull all of us along with it. There's going to be a lot more conversation around like beyond like analytics. How do I do this thing? I'm a master of SQL. I can build Tableau dashboards, et cetera. It's going to be, what is the general principles under which we try to share information? Like, is there a commitment to sharing it rapidly? At what cost? Is there a commitment to sharing contextual information? At what risk of information glut? I think those are the types of questions that is going to change. And ultimately what will happen is the same thing that started to happen to product managers, is we're all going to have to become much better and smarter about being product centric. And that's going to cut into those boundaries that product managers have historically loved. So you're going to see more UX designers taking the lead on building and designing products. So we've already seen that at a couple of places who, they announced the death of the product manager role and everybody's like, oh, they killed product managers. Instead, it's more of these kind of mergers of like, we need designers and tighter together. And then as Gen AI becomes more centric to apps, it's going to be design, product, data, and engineering to sit closer together. And that sitting closer together over the course of 5 or 10 years is going to create these people who have multiple skills. You'll see design data scientists. You're going to start to see, UX AI engineers. You're going to start to see designers who can build their own, end-to-end app, whether it's by auto-generating the code through a Copilot, or it's actually having the skills to go through and build an application from the ground up as a part of the design process. I think that's some of the ways that we'll see this shift, because ultimately, as this automates the boring stuff and accelerates us into doing better, faster work, jobs are going to change. Some are going to go away. And, hopefully we'll get to that Keynesian dream of working a couple days a week and then like hanging out the rest of it, right? Like we're going to get to that 30-hour work week, and then we'll get to that 20-hour work week. And, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and it's interesting to say, even in for testing, you get that's morphing into like testing with the AI skills as well. So I think roles, it's just all going to evolve, isn't it? Like, you're going to get the data scientists that they got the specialist UX UI skills. It's going to be just again just more specialists in different areas. And like it's just, I think people, I mean, the businesses that succeed are going to be the ones that are constantly upskilling and getting. So you don't want to be spending all your money on attracting staff, because that's stop, start, people move. You want to keep upskilling people within your business as things grow. And with that, you need to be, I guess, forward thinking, because most businesses, they'll just look, we need a data scientist for this requirement. But what about in 2-3 years? What's that skill set going to look like? I think businesses need to be more adaptive there, because even now, I guess even not touch base with data engineers, it's not just your BI data skills now. That's moving into software, API skills. So that's just showing that things are moving and people got to learn new skills.
Yeah, and I think, while it does push people towards more software, API, for lack of a better word, let's call them the hard skills, there's a level of Gen AI and Gen AI production design that uses things like watchtowers to protect us from from outputting offensive content or putting out content that alienates groups of people, etc. I think that this is also a moment where everybody's been asking, like, what's the role of the humanities? Why are we making these kids who are doing, data engineering take humanities classes? And it's going to be because you're now going to have to design unit tests and technical gating for things that are philosophical and principled concepts. And you're going to have to be able to connect that soft, squishy humanities brain with that hard technical, engineering hand, and marry them together to find solutions to problems in a way that manages Gen AI. If it's left to its own devices, it's going to find a way to upset everybody in some way or form. And as an engineer, you're going to start writing those tests and creating those gates and watchtowers that prevent that from happening in alignment with the principles of the product or the company you're building for.